All right. So take that single hair off the microphone. What's up? What's up, YouTube? What's up, Twitch chat? Playing through first league of the day with some Dimir. I don't really know what to call it. Dimir FrOculus. Sounds a little insensitive, but yeah, FrOculus time indeed. So we're trying out Abhorrent Oculus. Let's get the preview pane up in here. New little 3-drop from Duskmourn, 2 and a blue for a 5/5 flyer. As an additional cost to cast a spell, exile 6 cards from your graveyard. The beginning of each opponent's upkeep, Manifest Dread. So Manifest Dread is you look at the top 2 cards of your library, you put one of them face down onto the battlefield as a 2/2, and the other goes in your graveyard. And you can flip the face down card face up at any time by paying its mana cost. So you're essentially paying 3 mana for if your opponent's tapped out, hopefully 7 power worth of body. Sounds pretty similar to Murktide. Just doesn't care about what kinds of cards you're exiling. So it could be lands, could be other creatures, whatever. But I'm not really interested in hard casting Oculus too much. We took out the Murktides just in case we do have to, so they're not competing over the graveyard. But more so, we're interested in cards like Unearth to maybe flip over an Oculus off of a Thought Scour, or discard 1 to a Psychic Frog and then bring it back with an Unearth. That way we can get around the having to exile 6 cards stipulation on here while still getting the body. I did have some suggestions for trying out like Chthonian Nightmare instead of Unearth. Ultimately, I think Unearth is going to be a little bit better since we don't have to sacrifice a creature for it. But if you did want to go the Nightmare route, remember that Oculus makes tokens that you can proceed to sack to Nightmare to get back your Oculus if it dies, or Bowmaster making tokens to sack and get back. But I think 2 mana is a little bit slow for a deck like this. You really want to be like Unearth plus Counterspell, or Unearth plus some other form of interaction. So we'll see how it plays out. Unearth can also get back our Psychic Frogs, Bowmasters, can get back Harbinger of the Seas out of the sideboard. So we do have some options here. Went up to 3 copies of Force Negation just to try to protect this whole Psychic Frog, discard Oculus plan a little bit more. Other than that, the only real cuts we made from the traditional Frogtide shell was like a couple of copies of Spell Pierce, a Cling to Dust, about it, the Murktides for the Oculus themselves. Sideboard, a couple copies of Harbinger, or a few copies of Harbinger, 2 Mystical Dispute, 2 Stern Scolding, some Consigns, cut the Break the Ice, went up a Meat Hook Massacre over the second Toxic Deluge. So we'll see how it plays out. I'm curious about Oculus. I don't know if I think the card is good. But it's interesting. It's different. So that's enough of a reason to at least kind of give it a shot, right? See how it actually does. I'm still working on a shell for the new Kaito. I'm going to find some way to make that card good. I don't know what it's going to look like yet, but it's going to be Kaito-rific. Patent pending. All right, let's find an opponent. He's already got 2 trophies. Corey, what's up? Show game log. Let's line that up. And we win the die roll. Love to see it. Love to see it. So we do have Psychic Frog. We do have an Oculus. All right, and we got a bunch of Psychic Frogs. Let's See if we can find like an unearth. Really interested in another land right now. When it reveals a Gigantha, so I'm assuming one of the energy variants. Them getting Guide of Souls, or them getting basic planes, could very well mean that they've got a Blood Moon in hand already. So I could try to get a basic swamp off this. It makes Counterspell worse, which is a little awkward. Really want to keep Counterspell active. But at the same time, if I don't get my swamp, I might just be locked out of everything. If I get the swamp, then it means another fetch land. Getting an island would open up everything except Counterspell. So let's play scared. I hate it, but George ends and Mike starts. Perfect. George of the Jungle? No. Paul George? Nope. George Washington? Curious George? Here's a real George. George Jabor. I have no idea who that is. Sounds like a stand-up individual. So is this going to be the typical lightning bolt into static prison? I could just like discard an Oculus and a Psychic Frog, and I wouldn't be like that upset. Okay. Show me the static prison. I'm like so sure that they've got one if they're leading with the bolt there. Called it. Called it. All right, we do get a land to get Counterspell up, so that's really nice. Pedro, what's up? Larry, what's up? Got Goblin Bombardment. Okay, so like Bombardment, obviously very annoying. I'm really tempted to just like shoot the Sheriff the Guide and let it go. That way I can save my Counterspell for something like a One Ring. I'm going to maybe like Surveil off of this Polluted Delta instead of going for the basic plains or basic island. Rather have another land. The IBK just got the blue-black Murktide deck, but without Bowmasters. Do you have any good replacement ideas? Tough call. Like, I get that question a lot, and the problem answering it is just there is no direct replacement for Bowmaster. So you have to adjust like your entire play style to account for it. It's not just like swap one card and call it a day. We're going to counterspell there, Johnny. So like, if you're going to replace Bowmaster, I would likely replace it with something like Thought Scour or Consider to help find your Bowmaster or to help find your Psychic Frogs and Murktides better. I wouldn't just try to replace it with like some generic creature. Snap Bolt, guess who won their RCQ last Saturday with Dimir Shadow? I'm guessing you. Yeah? Did you? Because if you did, that's awesome. Great guess. Yes, I knew it. All right. It doesn't tap with a frog. Ooh. Interesting. Let's just attack in with the frog. If they want to block this, like, cool. Get the Oculus off the board. Or get the Ocelot off the board. If they want to try to sack to kill the frog, we'll ditch this Watery Grave here. Our frog alive. One, two, three, four. Something, 5. We keep some unearthed targets in the yard. So fun. It's a grind though for sure. It's not an easy deck to pilot. It's not. It definitely definitely rewards you for getting some reps in. I gotta get a bot to deal with bots coming in chat. Gata. Going preordained first. Try to filter this frog draw a little bit. I'm gonna ditch both of these. I could try to get Thought Scour just for like a random redraw, but do you mind discussing the new cards you've added? Yeah. So this build, minimize or draw hidden. This build has got 2 new cards in it. I've got 4 copies of Abhorrent Oculus, the 3 mana 5/5 flyer. Manifest Dread on your opponent's upkeep. Replacing Murktide Regent, mainly because it doesn't care what it exiles. You always have a pretty steady body. And hopefully we can cheat it in a couple times with Unearth off of like a frog discard or milling over it with Thought Scour. And then 2 copies of Gloomlake Verge over the Dark Slick Shores, mainly because it comes into play untapped after like turn 2, turn 3. Pretty big deal. Redis coming in with the 36-month resub. Mike, I feel like I celebrate a new anniversary every time I join in here. Anyway, here's to 3 years. Here is to 3 years. Greatly, greatly appreciate it. Hope you're having an awesome, awesome Wednesday. Static Prison. Okay. What do we think they're going to static prison? Do you take the frog or do you take the Oculus? We could flash in the Bowmaster, so we'd ping them down to 9, make 2 more bodies, untap, frog, exile 3, and hop. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guaranteed. Yeah. Okay, so if I attack with the frog, I can't get the Oculus down unless they block the frog and I discard the push. Probably isn't like the worst thing in the world. Just get another Oculus down. But I do kind of like drawing off my frog. I'm going to draw off the frog. The cards underneath the manifest go to the bin. No, you look at the top 2 cards with Oculus. 1 goes to the bin and 1 goes under the card. And you can flip it up if it's face down, but if it's not a creature, you can just leave it face down. I'm going to play that out just so I can get a basic island if I need to. Oh, yeah, if the creature dies, the card goes to the bin. Yes. There's a Flage. Target my Psychic Frog. So I could Fatal Push my Psychic Frog to prevent the life gain. Because they're going to be able to sack it to the bombardment for an extra point if they want it. But if I Fatal Push my frog, they just sack it and like kill the Bowmaster. Let's discard an Oculus. See what they decide to do. Discard a Fatal Push. If they can't get rid of the frog, they can just get back the Flage. I completely forgot about Giganta having text. That is a thing. I don't have lethal in the air with the life gain if I discard to save the frog. Yeah, should have kept the Fatal Push. I just did not even think about escaping the Flage. Well, that makes life a little bit more difficult, doesn't it? Don't get back Oculus this turn. What is Swingle doing for me? Like, they eat my manifest token, they take 2, go to 7, and then they just got, like, free attack back for almost lethal. Okay. Forgetting Gigant that has text. I don't think we would have been in a great spot regardless, but definitely one of those things I should have remembered. Been on this weird, like, back and forth with surgical extraction. I kind of like it against the Boros list. Just because they have like the 4 Flage and the 4/1 ring, and being able to hit either one of those is a pretty big deal. I don't like it as much against like the Mardu lists. So a lot of times you're just not going to have a good target for it. On the play, Master is a little bit better on the play, still not great. Rim. Stuff like that. If I don't bring in surgical, what am I doing? Keeping another Unearth in. Keep the surgical. They'd have to block the token or die or sack off creatures. They have to block the token. It's like I was attacking in for 4. If I had an Oculus under the token, yeah, they would have had to block it. But if I had an Oculus, I would have already flipped it, right? Because I'd be making more tokens every turn. It's better try for consideration in this list over Shoot the Sheriff as a way to bend the Oculus. I mean, I don't really think we need ways to bend the Oculus, but I'm really just not a fan of, like, playing cards that are great in, like, one specific scenario, but not as universally powerful. Like, Bitter Triumph is good if you have an Oculus and an Unearth in hand and you have something that you need to kill that, like, Fatal Push doesn't kill. But then every other scenario, it's kind of meh because you have to discard a card or lose the life. And when one of the most or best deck in the format is like an aggressive red-white aggro deck, losing life is a pretty big ask. Did I have an Oculus on board? No. I had a Frog, a Manifest token, a Bowmaster, and a Bowmaster token. Now, if I had an Oculus on board, I would have played that completely differently. Let's sync this. Some cards in the yard. Try to find an Oculus or something. Ooh, like that. Unearth the Frog. Oop. My fear for this deck is that we're just playing a bunch of cards that are like very underwhelming on their own, like Unearth. For the Hope It synergy. Oh. These oh so fun psychic frog situations, like we discard to the discharge and they just play another land and flage our psychic frog, or we don't discard to the psychic frog and they just play a flage and kill off our bowmaster and our bowmaster token. So I guess really all I can do is discard to the frog, hope that their follow-up isn't a flage. Maybe they play like an Ajani and we can Stern Scolding it. Nope. All right, we'll scoop it up. I don't think there's any, yeah. I don't think there's anything we're drawing that's getting us back into it. Ugh. Play bad cards, win bad prizes. Magic is easy. Magic is easy when you're the person casting the bombardments and the flages. But you just like can't stumble against Boros at all. We'd had that Stern Scolding a turn earlier to hit the bombardment. Maybe things are different. If we'd had the frog a turn earlier to play before they played the bombardment, maybe things are different. But you also just can't afford to like mulligan aggressively for cards like that, because okay, I mull for Spell Snare Psychic Frog and they go like Guide of Souls into Guide Ocelot, and I'm like, ah, well, dang. Like, I can't imagine there's a world full of people throwing that hand back, right? With, what was it? Shoot the Sheriff, Stern Scolding, Bowmaster, couple lands. The Unearth was meh, but I kind of feel, oh, another Giganta. I kind of feel like what this is going to turn into is take out the Unearths and try just like hard casting Oculus. It says GLHF, which means they're on something unfair or unreasonable. Like maybe we go up to the full four Force Negation and try to just hard cast Oculus. Double Guide of Souls, you say? Oculus's job is to pitch to Force Negation. Like, look at this. How are you able to sandbag this much stuff for turn 3? Just... Turn 1, nothing. Turn 2, bombardment. Can unearth a bowmaster. Count for something, right? Oop. Here's a frog. Blood moon. Nope, nope. Okay. Do we think that their last magic card... Oh, never mind. Nice. I wasn't expecting that. I could just play out another psychic frog with the intention of ditching whatever I can to the frog to keep it alive. Fly in over the flage. Okay. If you want to play something spicy, then I would recommend Frog plus Scion of Draco. Puts you in a basically unraceable situation due to lifelink and hexproof on the Frog. It's simply unfair. List of the Nordic Masters did very well with this core and showcased how Frog can be made even more unfair. I mean, Frog's pretty unfair by itself if your opponent can't target it. But yeah, there is somebody locally playing Zoo with Frogs. I've thought about trying it out at some point. Problem I have is when I play like the Scion of Draco, Leyline of the Guild Pact builds, I just never see Leyline of the Guild Pact. I'm just like the world's worst at drawing that card. Going to go after my frog. Well, we are not going to be able to outgrow the flage. So I guess that means we have to go over. Push, pierce, push, because we don't care about, what's it called? 4-1 playing your list. Game 2 versus Domain with Frog. We both play Frog and I Harbinger. They cast nothing else that game. Yeah, I had a really good game. I think I lost a winning into top 8 of one of the challenges. Good draw. With Murktide, because my opponent played they didn't have a ley line. They played a shock land on turn 1 for a Nicodle, and then turn 2 played like a shock land or some removal spell, and I found a Harbinger off the top and went to Windmill Slam it, and they were just like, I got you, and they played Basic Mountain, killed off my Harbinger, and sad. So sad. Ridiculous? No. Do I want to force? Is force better than just a random card? Probably. They also did nothing else relevant that game. That's usually how it goes. Frog and Scion. I'm not convinced that the Zoo Shell is necessarily the best home, to be honest. I'm currently on an Esper core, which feels a lot better and significantly less taxing on the mana base. So... the hand. Go ahead and Bowmaster. speed up the clock a little bit. I get for keeping the army, or keeping the force negation. Why not 2 Harbinger in the main? I started off at 2 Harbinger, went down to 1 because everybody just plays around it. And then ended up cutting down to none in the main. Because again, like, everybody just plays around it. As soon as they see Dimir, they instantly start fetching basics. And I don't like the idea of having, like, one of my big lockout hate pieces being something that my opponents can just choose not to play into. Like, occasionally you're going to get people because they don't respect it and they're aggressively getting elegant parlors or whatever. But then you're going to find that opponent that's like, turn 1, plains, Guide of Souls, turn 2, Mountain Amped Raptor, and you just kind of lose to that. Ooh. A little punished for not playing out my my lands. But yeah, Oculus. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Bowmaster. So they can get back their Flage here. Super punished for not playing out my lands. I like wanted to save them for Frog. But see how that worked out. Kind of rewarded for not playing them out. I don't know. Let's just turn you up. Pass the turn. Make some dudes. Hold up force. That one. The ring is fine. Is the ring fine? Ring doesn't feel fine. Ring feels very anti-fine. What are we shooting? That one? You sure you want to shoot that one? Shoot the one that's not a Bowmaster. Yay! Oculus! They stone drained us. Technically, you were correct. I cannot argue the events in question. On the draw. All right, so popular fan theory, unpopular fan theory. I don't think Bowmaster is very good in this matchup, especially on the draw. Like, we're bringing in sweepers. It's very easy for them to just, like, tank a couple Bowmaster hits and find an answer to it when they've got a 1 ring down. On the draw, it lets Ocelot Pride live for a couple turns. Doesn't kill Guide of Souls. Doesn't kill a Johnny. And then Frog's kind of bad on the draw. Don't want to play Frog into their, like, 1 or 2 open mana and risk them just having removal spell into untap prison or something. Would Murktide be better in the last game? The first one would have been better. The second one, since we found it off the first one, wouldn't have been. Yeah, I don't want to have both. Like, I don't want taxing the yard that much. That's way too much going on. Are we ditching? One of these oculi. No! Go away, Oculus. I don't want this many of you. My opening hand. Alright, well, we found a force. That's kind of nice in the face of what is very likely a blood moon. Never saw it coming. The fact that we're hanging on in this with our one land is kind of hilarious. Is the Oculus any good? Thing. Hitting land drops is good. Alright, let's just go to the next one. I forgot that was only game 2. Frog back in on the play. Maybe bring Unearth back in. Both teams played hard. There was a fight there, that's for sure. On the board. What a modern deck should look like. This is the peak athletic performance for modern decks. That's a pretty good hand. Yep. Show me a force off the top. Not a force. Sewers. I want to wait till I can frog plus some sort of interaction. No. Let's go basic island. Frog. No. Gold flage. Somebody locally that keeps calling it like flog, and I don't know why it bothers me. Yeah, I'm gonna cast my flog. Like, gonna what? Gonna do what with who? First. Draw me something good. Go. I'll scour them for info. Like, in response to this fetch, thought scour you. You know how big brain that would be if we had like a counter spell and we thought scoured them just to try to get them to like spend their entire turn recasting Flage instead of doing something else. Let's go Undercity. Good hard cast an Oculus. It's a good one into an arena'd Flage. That doesn't really do anything. I guess it gives me Revolt if I want it, but I'm probably just sinking the Flage anyway. The draw was really bad, just the front side of Flage twice. I mean, it still negates like a couple attacks. Right, though, it's not great. That's a good draw. This Crocodile Dundee style, like, that's not a draw. That's a draw. Everybody here seen Crocodile Dundee at least once? One ring, you say? No. All right. Feeling halfway okay. No. Guide, sure. Top of the stream, how are you liking the Verge lands? I mean, somewhere like right here would look pretty good, right? I could play it out untapped. It's gonna be frog food, spoiler alert, but could have been nice. I will say, so far in a limited number of games, it has not hurt. Okay. Yet again, despite Freed's insistence, I will not be thought scouring them for information. Will, however, be hopping a frog. Land. And I'm probably going to try to make this a 2-turn clock. Just discard like a spell snare and a deluge or something. We're seeing to potentially cut the Dark Slick Shores for the Verge or a split. I'm trying to see about cutting the Dark Slicks altogether. I think the card is very, very mid. Dark Slick, I mean. Let's ditch Deluge. Do think I'm going to discard. The reason to play out Preordain when I've just got like triple counter held up. Okay, 1-1 into the Energy Menace. I don't think Oculus did very much for us that game, but at the Bowmasters. Are you talking to me or are you talking to chat? It's kind of hard for me to cut Bowmaster in the middle of a league, but no. This hand's pretty terrible. Not only against Mistaken, but just in general. This has no lands. All right, Mistaken. Pair for or what? Go for the turn 1 Preordain in case we find a Force Negation. See the line, right? No, no. Ah. I did not mean to bottom that swamp. I was thinking too much. I wanted to keep the Oculus on top so I could Thought Scour over it and unearth, but instead I was bad. I'm not going to talk about it. Here. Know what you do, but went through the whole see the line and everything and still punted that one. Three, 4, 5, 6. Go. Verge is better when you're surveilling early turns anyway. I'd say there's like not too much of a difference between them. Just kill me faster, please. I'm like, I'm trying, but I'm too busy punting. All right, they got a Cavern of Souls. Keep the Undercity, or keep the Shoot the Sheriff. Still a Titan. Oh boy. Cavern plus bounce land is Titan mana. You ever seen the Titan player just like not find the Titan? Still waiting for that one, but I feel like it's possible, right? Multiple Titans. Not this Titan player. Truth. This is how you top 8 challenges with Titans. You find all the Titans. So we should have had turn 2 Oculus instead of turn 3, which I don't think necessarily would have saved us, but yeah, if they had one Titan that we could have interacted with, we would have been better off. Could have killed the Dryad, but it wouldn't have saved us. We do have some stuff to bring in, though. Kind of cool. Your fatal pushes, trim some unearths, because I'm a little bit afraid of them just bringing in like Bajuka Bog. Guess I have to keep an unearth in just because I don't have enough to cut. Spell Pierce better on the play. Maybe you manifested the Titan they drew. No, they always have the Titan, period. Scour sucks. Thank you. That is enlightening. Is all of the encouragement I needed. He's sandbagging. We want 3 frogs. Like, I think I'm supposed to just jam a frog here. And if he untaps and has an amulet, like, so be it. Could also just be a dismember. What on earth is this? Bear Trap. Sacrifice Bear Trap, deals 3 damage to target creature. That is a magic card, by all technicalities. Hey. I guess that Bear Trap is literally just for this scenario. Just for Harbinger. I mean, I kind of want to just jam the Harbinger into it and make them like spend a turn bear trapping. But at the same time, probably better to just play another frog and pass. Multiple bear traps. Yeah. This This has got to be anti-Harbinger tech. Why not wait until you get Consign up? For what? The Harbinger? Because, like, I can't stop Bear Trap regardless. Consign only hits triggered abilities, not activated abilities. This trap does not kill frogs, only bears. Literally. I'm kind of surprised they didn't make it deal 2 damage instead, since it's a bear trap. 2/2 creature. Bear. I'm laughing. But it wasn't a frog trap. That would have been some trouble for us. Man. This hand does mess up an Amulet draw. They keep her mulligan. It kept our bear traps these days. I think I'm gonna ship this. It's just so reliant on finding a second land. This is better only because we can unearth our Harbinger after a bear trap. Really no other reason. Everybody be defense gridding nowadays. Plus 3 more. Three more. 3. We're just like slamming a Bowmaster. Like, what am I preordaining into? Nothing. If I can't counterspell, I might as well just play this out and say go. Try. Softly to myself. Harbinger strip mine mode activated. Air trap this. Glorious. Truly glorious. Sink into stupor. Part of me wants to sink into stupor. The defense grid. Probably better off just playing another Harbinger. It's like I can't stop a ring on their turn anyway without 2 more lands. Might just have to cycle this on Earth. Is there anything tricky I can do? With Bowmaster, like... Not with only one basic swamp. Like if I attack all out, block, take 2 down to 13. It's 5th card in the yard. I could cycle Unearth to try to hit a land. Yeah, I could attack all out and Unearth a Merfolk, but that doesn't deal with this Dryad problem. I kind of feel like I need to just sink the Dryad and attack. Mainly so they have to spend another turn just recasting the Dryad instead of doing anything like more impactful. The other option would be attack all out. They block one of the Harbingers with the Dryad. I cycle the Unearth to get 5th card in the yard. Harbinger is 6, and then just hard cast an Oculus and pass. I think that needs to be my play. I think that puts the most pressure on. Ooh, you got a ring. Now, do I want to... I mean, I guess this gets the same result, right? Yeah. Cycle you. You. Oculus. Got the ring. They're all shocked. So we'll pass with Counterspell because I can Counterspell through Defense Grid. Or I could, I guess, Bowmaster. Kaito, Tisk Tisk. I am working on a Kaito shell. Frog. Got Kaito plans. More defense grids. Okay. Now we're just going on like the flip up our 2 manifest tokens plan. Got an endurance. So if I attack all out, what does this look like? They block Oculus, Harbinger, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If I go that route. 9, 10, they lose off the ring. If I go attack all out and they block Harbinger, Oculus, 5, flip up, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So if they block both the Harbingers, they die. This would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 with the ping, 9, 10 off the ring. There's no way to make this lethal, right? That's right. I gotta spend black mana if I do that. Yes, I don't think I can. Force doesn't do anything for me. Yeah. It's one short of lethal with the ring. That was part of the problem. It would have flipped the frog into a 1-2. I would have discarded 4, made it a 5, 6, 7 off the Harbinger, 8 off the army token. They would have gone down to 3, lost 2 off the ring, and gone to 1. If I orc armied inside of combat, or bowmastered inside of combat for 1 more damage, yeah, it would have done 1 more, but I don't think it actually changes any of the outs. Like, if it doesn't kill them, it doesn't really matter. Got this other Harbinger hidden away in case we get bear trapped. Another Dryad. Now, I can counterspell. No. 6 more. So I'm best off just like casting this Bowmaster main phase right now. Shoot something, say go. Now you just like can't tap the ring at all. Got manifest for days. Down to 2. Getting bear trap sounds like a fun Saturday night. Well, first off, it's Wednesday. It doesn't sound as fun on a Wednesday. I missed chat. Mistaken said, imagine having lands in your 33 land deck. Understandable. Just so many harbingers. Bear Trap sounds like it would be a fantastic, like, mixed cocktail at a high-end bar. Yeah, I like 2 tequila sunrises and a bear trap. All right, it's got a frog and an Oculus. Like, what more do you want from me? What does it look like for hard casting Oculus on 3? Like, if I get a Surveil land, flip something into the bin, that's 2. Frog on 2, discard some number. Commercial District Surveil. Does help get an Oculus online. But at the same time, just like casting my stuff will get this Oculus online. Okay. Easy. Let's hack. If they have a land, they can Kozilek's command for enough to kill my Oculus, which is kind of annoying. But at the same time, I kind of feel like getting down Oculus is really good clock. We're just going to jam it. If they do kill my Oculus, then they don't have the cards to kill my frog too. Get like frog plus token and I don't know. I kind of want to try the limits of the Oculus and see what happens here. No. Mistake on my part, right? Hacking doesn't do anything. Can't believe y'all just let me let them resolve a 1 ring. Five, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. We've got a lethal attack right now. That's kind of cool. Another Oculus. It's a lot of mana. Do they have double Kozilek's command? Or is this like Kozilek's Command plus Myco spawn. Or Kozilek's Command plus a second One Ring. Five, 10, 12, 13, 14. They're tired of the ring. Same. Same, fam. Same. Okay, so this is another copy of the One Ring. I counter that. Oh. I'm gonna go for the counter spell. Maybe this is like a Myco spawn instead. Could just be another. Just what I expected. Oh yeah, they had Eldrazi mana, didn't they? Good call. Good call. Thought another Kozilek's Command. Very well could have been. But I just didn't want to cast it out. Earth Plan's probably fine-ish. I've tried to yeah, words are tough. I tried to get a little more aggressive about bringing Surgical in, just like if I see the One Ring, which I absolutely hate. Like, I hate that thought process. But at the end of the day, if the One Ring is like the card that single-handedly wins games against you, then why not treat it as like what's it called? As like a pseudo through the breach, and just say, all right, if I get the One Rings out of their deck, I can probably find a way to win from there. I don't want to auto yield in case they do something like Labyrinth and Chalice. I don't even know if I care about Labyrinth and Chalice. Could force pitch Oculus. Gotta shut them off of mana while I set up this Harbinger. It's basic Swamp. So we'll go Watery Grave, pass. I've consigned a memory up. Next turn we can Scalding Tarn for like a Surveil land. Pitching Oculus is the one for me. And if it works, it works. See if we're fortunate enough. They kept a card on top, right? Yep. Counterspell is nice. I bet you they've got a Kozilek's Command. I would put money on it. How does the Oculus package feel compared to Murktide? It's easier to set up. The payoff doesn't feel that much different. Okay, so I think it's easier to set up, like just talking hard cast versus hard cast. The payoff is nice, But having to spend 3 mana to get the body is kind of rough. All right, we're going to try to hit another land. Much as I like Frog, I'd rather have land. Land. I can't just jam this Harbinger without protection. That's just like asking for trouble. It's hard cast a 1 ring for me. Copious Sprawl. Sure. Labyrinth. Come on. Land. I'm really tempted to surgical the Windswept Heath just to see if they've got like a Kozilek's Command, or if I'm free to jam this Harbinger and I'm just being scared. Guess now I don't really have to. Asking something. Luis, thank you so much for the YouTube sub. Really appreciate it. Like seeing them tap down on colorless mana. I have a Veil of Summer. Land. All right. Well, I guess they can't. They can't Kozilek's Command off an Ugin's Labyrinth. This is like Kozilek's Return. Okay. So if they follow that up with a 1 ring, it's pretty annoying. 6. So it looks like the name of this game is just going to be like never hitting that 4th land drop. Well, better late than never. Now, do I want to just go ahead and surgical? I do. I think I want a surgical Kozilek's Return. Mystical Dispute? Get out of here. I only had the one copy of Kozilek's Return. Okay. So let's think about this. They're going to have Mystical Dispute no matter what I do. Nico coming in with the Twitch Prime sub. Thank you so much. Welcome to the subscribers. All right, let you rumble. Find a World Breaker. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So they can cast the World Breaker. Thank you so much for your videos. Really enjoying your recent thoughts on the deck. Well, I appreciate it. And having a fun posting about it. Did I not surgical this? Am I going crazy? Okay. We're going to shoot the Sheriff, the World Breaker. And we're going to try to get down Harbinger. Getting down Harbinger would stop them from being able to get back World Breaker because it does cost colorless mana for the ability. Not a great plan, but it's the only plan we got at the moment. Oh, never mind. Never mind. On to game 3. Try that again. Maybe I want to bring in... I can bring in Mystical Dispute to try to fight over their Mystical Dispute. Seems kind of meh at best. I think I want the same game plan, just being on the play and hopefully finding that 4th land. Break the Ice days are over. Well, first off, it's only my first league not playing Break the Ice. I don't think I would go as far as saying days are over. That sounds a little extreme. But no, I took them out because I moved like the Harbingers all to the sideboard. And just wanted, like, had to make room for the Harbingers somehow. And Break the Ice was the exclusion that I made. Part of me kind of wants to force that. The rest of me is saying save force for the Psychic Frog. Like, I still think Break the Ice is the better sideboard plan against the heavy Tron variants. I don't consider this to be like a heavy Tron variant. I mean, just running a whole bunch of basics as well as like Utopia Sprawl and stuff it just isn't. It's not Tron, you know what I mean? It's just like a green Eldrazi mid-range deck. And that's a completely different kind of plan. Jukabog. Crash into the Myco spawn. See what they do. Discard some stuff to keep my frog around. Like Harbinger, how slow Harbinger is compared to something like Break the Ice against Labyrinth is a really big deal. I want to just counter spell this. That would like give them mana to cast another Myco spawn. Got it. They just got it. Okay. Frog V. Whatever they got. Frog and Force V. Whatever they got. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Problem is Break the Ice only works versus Tron variants. Harbinger works versus many other decks. So I get that argument, but I also think it runs into the problem of like the Tron decks can't really choose to play around something like Break the Ice, where a lot of the other decks can choose to play around Harbinger. Just a lot of them like don't choose to some number of the times, and it turns into a gotcha scenario, and you're like, oh, this feels great, I got them. When in reality, if they had just chosen to play around it, we wouldn't be having the same conversation. You know what I mean? Kozilek's command. Like a lot of the Boros decks can very easily curve out by just getting like basic plains into basic mountain. And some number of the time they choose not to and get a Surveil land instead. And that's when like Harbinger steals wins against them. And you kind of think like, okay, Harbinger looks really good at this moment. But if they just choose not to do that and get their basics instead, then Harbinger's just worthless there. One, two, three, four, five, six. That's with sync. Go for the World Breaker. I could have synced the Utopia Sprawl. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They would have had to have like a soul land or something. Maybe that would have been better. But yeah, I don't like relying on a plan that involves your opponent having to like choose for it to be functional. Kind of want a plan that like I can put into place more often than not, or like force my opponent into not being able to fight back against. Like with Break the Ice, you kind of take a bunch of the big, expensive Eldrazi stuff out of the picture because they just can't cast it if you're blowing up Soul Lands or Eldrazi Temple or whatever. So it forces them into playing the Myco Spawn one ring game, and then like your spell pierces and signs and stuff look a lot better. Okay. We got a frog. We're on the play with the Surveil land. Let's see if we can find a second land. His mold, at least 6. Hopefully much lower in the nicest way possible. Show me a land. Also, just watch the first 15 minutes of your matchup video. I'm still sure onboarding out consign versus Boros. Having an answer for Ring Chang Prison still sounds so good in my mind. Well, again, like half the video was saying, if that works for you, do it. Like, run those cards if they work for you. But in my experience, they have not been working for me, so I'm just choosing not to run them. Completely fine. It said they're a big fan. Ooh. So fancy. I played in an RCQ the other day and had like 5 or 6 people come up and were saying that they enjoyed the content or like seeing the videos and whatnot. Like, this is weird. Like, why on earth have y'all watched my content? Okay, so it looks like we're up against Goryos. Land would be really... Ooh. I was gonna say land would be really nice. So I can just like unearth a Bowmaster. Kind of like that plan. Unearth a Bowmaster or play a frog. Unearth a Bowmaster. That if they like force or something, I can play a frog. I tried FOMO Shadow yet? Dude, this is the first league I have played with anything from Duskmourn, and I have not had time to play anything. Leyline Binding in the bin. Okay. Spamming drafts. A good bit of drafts. We gotta have like a Solitude, right? Their hand is just Solitude, white card, Ephemerate. for a preordain. Looking for like a counter spell here. Draxa. I was kidding. I was kidding. And you got the Goryos. You got the Force too. I love that. It's like a hand completely propped up by surveilling into an Atraxa. That can't be reliable, can it? Choose Emperor of Bones, Leyline Binding, Goryo's Vengeance. I guess the bright side is that their hits weren't that great. Modern, the format that pummels fair gamers into the ground. Truth. So I need to fight over this, unfortunately. Like, no, I can't even hit shoot the sheriff. They hit a Solitude. Painted Indulgence, another Goryo's Vengeance. Alright. Man. That's a rough one. I hate how that played out, because that really felt like it was a hand that just did absolutely nothing unless you surveilled over an Atraxa or like an Ulamog. Trim a Thought Scour. I just go down to one push. I'm boarding in the Mystical Disputes. Psychic Frog on the play. No black mana. Do that to myself. Psychic Frog on the play with Force Negation. Can bend Thought Scour, call it a day. Looks good. Oh wait, I can't Gloom Lake into Sink into Stupor for black mana. Alright. We have found the case of Gloom Lake being worse than Dark Slick Shores. Took a few games, but we found it. See what you got. We got Spell Snare for a Frog or for a Emperor of Bones. Also have to keep in mind that they're on Leyline Binding. Watery Grave. Now, our Gloom Lake is online. Spell Snare my frog. I got a frog. To fairy time, no. Alright, frog. Believe. Counter spell. To be pretty aggressive using my counter spells, especially against things that can just like chump block my frog or stand in front of it forever. Gonna use it on a Tainted Indulgence. Probably regret that. Adversity to Surveil before I draw. I don't think I can play that out this turn. Much as I want to. Yep. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pretty good top deck, right? Okay, let's hope that you're... I gotta fight over this, right? Like, need this hearse down. Got the Force. Okay, well, if your last card is Goryo's Vengeance. Um, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Discard. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oculus. I wonder if there's a way to abuse the Oculus. Like, do you need to play Oculus with Unearth and Snapcaster? Like, Oculus, Unearth, Snapcaster, Psychic Frog, to be able to cast stuff that you ditch off of the Oculus. Or there's some creature. Let me see if I can find it. I'm like 99% positive it's not good. But there's some blue creature in the new set that has to do with manifest. It's like if you would manifest something, like the card goes into your hand instead. I know it's like a... Whenever you manifest dread, put a card you put into your graveyard this way into your hand. Arcane, what's up? Is the new land good? Been fine. I wouldn't say good or bad. Just kind of been. About is it with Phoenix too? Why would you put Arclight in the deck with like your 3 mana sorcery speed mill 1 card dude? Like, that doesn't seem very explosive with Phoenix at all. Unless you mean like Ledger Shredder. I can see Ledger Shredder before I can see any Arclight shenanigans. Detective Phoenix. Okay, Detective Phoenix makes more sense. I thought you meant like Arclight Phoenix. Like, that doesn't seem good at all. But okay, I can live with Detective Phoenix more. I'm gonna rep Counterspell pretty heavily. So out of the loop. I mean, I don't know what over. Can't say you've missed too much. You're questioning Manifest Dread. That's our big question mark. You've been out of the loop for this long and you're like, Manifest Dread. Joking. Manifest Dread's kind of cool. Interesting mechanic. What does it mean? It means you look at the top 2 cards of your library, you put one of them into your graveyard, and the other face down is a 2/2 creature, and then you can flip it face up at any time for its mana cost. There's so many copies of Orcish Bowmaster. No, it's not bad. Not bad at all. All right. I'm going to flash in Bowmasters on their instep. In response to a Teferi. Well, if they've got a if they've got a Goryo's Vengeance, not much I can do about it. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Boop, 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 boop. There goes to Fairy. Feel a little bit better than I did a turn ago. I'm not gonna lie. Still a polluted delta. So they've got 4 cards they can pitch to the frog, which means they can eat the Oculus if they want. I guess they would have to give up a whole bunch of equity to do that. They have to block either the army token or the Oculus, or they die. If they block the Oculus, they have to discard all 4 cards out of their hand. Exile, give the frog flying to eat it, or they can just chump block it. If you're going to just chump block, then you just chump block the army token. Should have made it a 9-drop and given that big delve. Big old Oculus delve creature. Yeah. I agree with this. If you're going to chump block, just chump block the army token. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, unless they got a Solitude. All right, here's some frogs. Or Oculi. Four one with the Oculus. Okay. That's kind of cool. Well, let's talk about it. What do we think of the Oculus? I don't think we ever unearthed it that league. I think every time we played it, it was just like hard cast an Oculus for 3 mana. And wasn't that bad. A little bit slow against like some of the fair or some of the aggro decks, the fair aggro decks like Boros. 3 mana is a pretty big ask. But at the same time, if all you need is a single basic island, for Zach, GG's for sure. If all you need is a single basic island to play it through Blood Moon instead of like the double blue for Murktide, then that's something. realistically, I think this is going to turn into like cut the Scours, cut the Unearths, maybe cut like the 4th Oculus, kind of like I only ran 3 Murktide. Just do something like that and go back to extra spell pierces or something. Steven, thank you for the 27-month resub. Thank you so much. Goddamn, indeed. Now, to be fair, Redis is on 36 months. So, who's the real Control Freak fan? But yeah, I think these like 7 cards are probably pretty flex. Like you could throw them around as extra spell pierces or subtlety or something. Now, if you are wanting to run the full 4 Oculus, or if you're wanting to run like some number of Oculus and some number of Murktide, I'd probably try to make room for some Thought Scours or Considers. But I think just as like a 3-mana reasonable threat with a Force negation, it's not terrible. I wish we had one more piece of synergy for the graveyard, like for the stuff we're chunking off Oculus. But I really don't think Oculus is a card that you need to like keep around a bunch of turns and use it as graveyard fuel, because you're probably just winning if you got a 5/5 flying attacker that's surviving. Yeah, cool deck regardless.